super on time, like way super on time, right at 6 o'clock, which is fantastic. So we love a punctual group of folks. Number one, because I want to get this meeting over and go home and have dinner. I did not have to have dinner first. And number two, because we're all about efficiency here and making things as easy as possible for you within the parameters of the ability to do that. There are some things that are not easy that we cannot control, and that's just how we roll. Alrighty, so we have quite a few participants in here, and I have not heard the waiting room doorbell in a while, at least 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and officially get this meeting started. So just so you guys know what we are going to talk about today, I have my handy dandy recital guide here in my hand, and I'm going to take things in as organized as possible. I do have a tendency to get kind of chatty though, so I'll try to stop that for myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this recital guide, and I'm going to kind of go through all of the details that are happening for each of the events that we have coming up for recital. And I'm going to talk about each of those sections and just kind of talk through them. Obviously, you guys have the recital guide, you have the recital hub on the website and all of those things. You have us here in the office. If you have any questions at all, no matter how small it is, please do not hesitate to just email us and ask if you need clarification on something. If it's something written down, we will probably point you in the direction of the website or the recital guide so that you can find that information for yourself. But of course, we will always have the answer for you. We're here in the office and we can answer most of your questions. I'm the owner of the studio, so a lot of the stuff still does live up in my brain, but most of the staff and admin staff is, trained and working towards getting to know the back end details of the recital super well. And if they cannot help you, they will direct your question to either me or Kathleen or Skylar or someone who does know the answer to the question. But essentially, as a teacher myself, I know that there are all kinds of different learners in the world and at the dance studio. So I often find it's kind of nice to hear someone just kind of talk through the process of how things are going to work, in addition to just going ahead and reading through it, because you might be able to kind of just visualize it a little bit better. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a moment to talk about tickets. So tomorrow is Tuesday, May 7th. Tuesday, May 7th is actually the official on sale date for the tickets that was given to us by Ticketmaster. You can actually go to the box office and get your tickets now though, however. So if that's something that you want to do, you can head down to the box office at any time. And it is actually our recommendation that anyone that is purchasing tickets, whether or not they have comp vouchers or not, do go ahead and head to the box office in order to purchase the tickets, because there are fees that are attached to the tickets when you are purchasing them online. The Harrison Opera House is a part of 7 venues, which are the 7 venues kind of in the Hampton Roads region. It's Chrysler Hall, it's the Addicts Theater, it's the Scope, it's the Sandler Center, all of the major venues in the area. And unfortunately, they are all contracted with Ticketmaster, which means that in order to sell tickets to the show, we do have to go through and use Ticketmaster. But if anyone has bought a concert ticket in the past 20 years, you probably know that they like to tack those fees on top of it, which I can only apologize for, I suppose. It is how they do business in order to cover their fees. And there are actual live people that are working the box office. I've been in contact with them. So a lot of that stuff does cover, their pay and their processing fees and all that kind of stuff. So they are not without merit. So that's what's going on with the box office. It is located, the address is right here. It's written down. It is 201 East Brambleton Avenue. The box office, I have been there myself personally, not during this ticket sale period, but I know a lot of clients have already been down there to the box office, and they have reported to me that it is very, very easy to get to. All you have to do is go ahead and type that address into your Google Maps or whatever it is that you're using for navigation, and you will be, it will take you directly there. Once you are parking inside of the parking garage where this direction takes you to, the signs for where the box office is very clearly marked. But let me go ahead and describe it to you. If you are not familiar with Norfolk at all, then this might not make any sense at all to you. But if you are and you've been to Chrysler Hall or Scope before, then it will. So if you're on Brambleton Avenue, there is kind of an underground garage that's in between the Chrysler Hall and the Scope right here. And you would either take the stairs up over to the Scope, because they have those stairs that go up onto that really big plaza. And they also have the elevators that go up to Chrysler Hall. So that box office is right there. It's right underneath of Scope. 201 East Brambleton Avenue is the address. The tickets are not for sale at the Harrison Opera House. That is the venue, but the box office is what is listed in the recital guide and online as far as what the address for the box office is. So when you get there, you will park, you'll kind of walk over to the box office, and they have a lot of people who are working there who are extremely helpful. If you're not sure where to sit, they'll have a map of all of the seats, which makes it very nice. And of course, when you go to pay, the amount of fees that are going to be attached to the tickets are going to be much less. So it is my recommendation, say you have a chance to go out there, I would recommend maybe connecting with somebody who hasn't had a chance to get out there, maybe somebody in your daughter's class, or maybe one of your neighbors, or definitely your parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles and neighbors if they're coming into the show. Go ahead and get just kind of a list of the tickets that are needed. That way, if you have a free chance to go out there, then you can go ahead and you can go get tickets for everybody. But also at the same time, as you're purchasing those tickets for a larger group of people, you'll be able to get those seats to sit together, which is really nice, as opposed to, I've bought concert tickets before at a seated venue, and I'm texting my friends and I'm saying, okay, I have row A, seats 13, 14, 15. I'm online. It looks like the two next to it are open. So if you grab those real quick, then we can sit together. You can avoid all that. And it's just nice to kind of do someone else a favor and then kind of organize the pricing amongst yourself, if that is helpful to you. So again, that is how they are available online. If that's convenient for you, then absolutely use the convenient online ticket sales. Super easy to use. You can choose tickets by the amount of tickets or the row. And you can also, there's going to be one of those maps online that has like the little dots on it. And then you can choose the dots in order to choose the exact seats that you want. And that is how you get the tickets. I know there's probably a little bit of confusion around the comp tickets that we had. So this year at Music in Motion, if you're new, this is not going to be as relevant to you, but it is important information that I feel might be useful. For the first time this year, we decided to transition to something called all-inclusive pricing. So all-inclusive pricing means that within your monthly tuition fee, you're paying the recital production fee. So there's the amount that classes are, and then on top of that, we added maybe, $5 or $10, $15 a month that you would pay in towards that would cover certain things that have to do with the recitals. So usually, for example, last year we charged somewhere between $100 and $140 for a recital fee, and that was automatically charged on March 1st. But we decided to not do that this year and just roll everything in. So no registration fee, you're not paying for photos, you're not paying for videos, you're not paying for the recital t-shirt. But the benefit is that for all of my clients that sign up in September, which is the start of the dance season, they were able to start early enough on their tuition that they were able to begin paying towards recital tickets as well. Last year, one of our shows had a sellout situation that happened pretty quickly, and it was a little bit scary for some of our clients. They thought that they might not be able to get recital tickets. Of course, that was not the case. We would never tell you can't see your kid at recital, but we changed venues to a larger one, and everybody had an amazing experience at our recital last year at the beautiful Regent Theater. But because of that little scare that we had with our sellout situation, I thought that it was best to just say, hey, every family gets 2 tickets to the recital when they're paying into their monthly tuition fees for their regular classes. So that was a list of a certain number of people. You should have all received your comp vouchers last week. And those comp vouchers are redeemable only at the box office, again, because it does take that human touch in order to make sure that the comp vouchers are handled correctly and that you're getting your seats correctly. So although there was a little bit of inconvenience attached to it, I do hope that the convenience, number one, of getting free tickets to the show in the first place without having to pay out extra at the end of the year was great for you. And also the opportunity to be able to go to the box office and pay less fees is super great as well. So since we are talking about tickets, I will go ahead and share my screen here real quick. And I have I'm not a professional Zoomer, so I apologize if I look crazy while trying to show you stuff. Where is it? Oh, I had a picture of the tickets. All right. Let's see if we can pull up the tickets here. Here's the theater. Here's the seating chart. All right. Seating chart. So if you guys can see this, it is a JPEG, but it is on my screen. There is the seating chart. So we have the red area up here is the orchestra. We have the blue area up here in the back, that is the balcony. And we have the yellow area here in the middle, which is the mezzanine, which is a part of the balcony. It's just a little bit lower, kind of separated. And then there are several boxes as well. So what we've done is we've done 3 different ticket tiers. As we've always done different ticket tiers. So those first 6 rows up here in the front are going to be a little bit more expensive. They're $35 a seat. And then your tickets that are in the middle here, as well as these box seats, and about a little more than half of the balcony are going to be your standard seats. There's probably about 800 seats available at this pricing level, which is $30. And then over here, just maybe if you're looking for a little bit more of a budget seat, the last 6 rows in the orchestra, the last 6 rows or so in the balcony, those are going to be $25 for those particular seats. And then all students, if you're bringing a child to the show, are going to be $25, and that's 18 and under. If you have a student that is a lap child or is younger than 2, then they would not need a ticket at all. Do not purchase them a ticket. But if you do require a seat for a child, for them to sit next to you, then you would have to purchase them a ticket, and that would be the seat. But I do have the photos of the Harrison Opera House pulled up here. As you can see, we actually just did an event there a couple of weeks ago, so I was able to see the theater again. But it's a huge, beautiful theater, and no matter where you're sitting, the view is absolutely incredible. So as you can see right here, this is one of the main photos looking towards the stage, and this is being taken from the balcony area, and it is nicely pitched, so you're really going to be able to have a great view. In fact, I prefer sitting in the balcony because I like to see all the formations and stuff like that happen on stage. And these are your boxes right here. They have about 4 seats in them. They are very, very cool place to sit. If I was bringing my 2-year-old, I'm not. I have to work. I would probably be in the boxes so I could have a little private place for him to run around. And then, of course, this is the view of the seats going upwards. So going upwards here, very nice. As you can see, there's a pretty good pitch. I'm standing on the stage looking up at this picture. So if you can see a seat, that means that the seat can see you, right? It's like when you're taking a selfie, you're like, hey, if I can't see you, then you're not going to be in the photo. Same thing here. And as you can see, I can see every single seat in this theater. So the seating is quite incredible. This is a professional theater, so I'm really looking forward to having some amazing production quality, great sound, great staff, helpful staff from the people at the box office to the ushers that are going to be signing you in. There's going to be a concession stand open for sale, which is going to include, beer and wine and cocktails and all of the snacks that you might need for a nice night out to celebrate your kids and how awesome they are. Of course, that's the outside. There is another exciting thing. We'll post a picture of this. I don't have the picture right now. The Music in Motion is on the marquee over at the Harrison Opera House, which is very cool. So we'll show their picture and you can share it with your children so that they can see, oh my God, I'm on the marquee and I'm going to be going on this stage. So it's something that we are definitely very excited about. So that being said, I'm going to stop the share for a moment. We just finished the section talking about tickets. So if you have any questions about tickets, go ahead and put question in the chat and I will call on you guys and we will go and I'll call on you and you can come off of mute and I will answer your questions about ticketing. Let me know. If you don't know how to open the chat or type question in the chat, or if you're on your phone and that's super awkward, then feel free to just come right off mute and just ask me a question. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Leanna has an excellent question here. So Leanna, I have a question for you. Do you intend to leave at intermission or do you intend to stay and watch the second half of the show?
Day because we have another dancer who will
Oh,
be
Elsie.
there.
Okay, perfect. So have you already gotten your tickets yet?
No, not yet.
No. So for in that situation, her ticket is going to be comped. So when you come into class tomorrow on Tuesday?
Yes.
Evie's on Tuesday, right? Here,
Yes,
let me
yes.
write this. Let me write this down. So Evie Land. Yes. Yes, her ticket is gonna be comped for you so that she can sit with you guys. Yeah. That should have been in your envelope. That's my fault. As far as like organizing all of the siblings goes. Yeah, okay, perfect. Does anybody else here in the meeting have a sibling that's being picked up at intermission that's going to be staying for the second half of the show? I have a list of all the siblings, so it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to raise your hand now. But if you do, let me know or shoot me an email because you're hearing it straight from the source. Comp tickets for those students as well, so that you can stay and watch the show. Of course, if you have a student who is being picked up at intermission who does not have a sibling, who is not staying for the second half of the show, if you're just going to be leaving at that point, which, you know, if you want to do that, totally fine. It'll be starting to get on the later side. You're going to be wanting to do dinner, maybe celebratory ice cream or something like that. So getting out of the theater early is going to be great for you. And when we give you the concert video, you do get all of the dances. So I always find it really cool if you have a younger dancer to kind of watch some of those other dancers. All right. So we have a question here. If you started the last week of March, there are no comp tickets. It's only for the registrations that happen in the first half of the year. Yes. Da, da, da. Admit. Yeah, Kara, that's totally fine. If she can sit on your lap, then go for it. Love those well-behaved children. A lot of times, this theater is 1,600 seats. I don't anticipate it selling out. Of course, I'm not going to sell my shelf short. It might sell out. But we usually, for any students that are watching the second half of the show, we do kind of allow them to run up to the top, and we'll have like maybe 2 rows at the very top where they can go up and they can sit at the top, and then they can come back down and they can wait their turn backstage, which is kind of a nice thing. Or the students that finish early, maybe they're in 1 or 2 dances and their dances have already gone and they're done and they're changed and they're packed up. I will allow them to go up to the top and just sit in a seat and watch without having to do anything. And the kids really enjoy that, which is cool. Awesome. Okay, if we don't have any more questions about tickets, I am going to go ahead and get ready to move on to photo week. Okay. Photo week is next week, which is May 13th to May 18th. It starts on a Monday. We have been doing a photo week every year for quite some time, but we are doing it a little different this year. We used to do it in time blocks where we would say everyone come at 5 or everyone come at 7. And even that started to get confusing because you have signed up your kids for dance, but they might have to go to swim lessons after dance. And us changing the schedule on you kind of disrupted, you know, the regular flow of your week. I didn't want to do that. So what we decided to do is we're going to have photo week during your regular class time. time. It seems like it makes so much sense. But during your regular class time, what you're going to do is sorry, I got distracted by a question. um, During your regular class time, you're going to send your student to class dressed in their first costume, ideally. Now, that's going to be for, my baby classes, preschoolers, kindergartens, a majority of my level 1 students. I know that the middle schoolers kind of have a pretty tight time frame that they're working with. So just do the best that you can. It is easier for the students to come dressed already in their costume just because we don't have to reserve dressing room space for them. However, there is plenty of dressing room space, and we just like them to be ready as quickly as possible so that we can go ahead and get the photo day started. So I'll give you an example. At 4 o'clock on Mondays, we have Discover Dance, and we have at 4:30 Acro 1 and Hip Hop 1. So Discover Dance is going to arrive first. They'll be in costume. We'll take them to the back room, which is where our photo shoot will be. They will have a group photo, and then we will pull them out one at a time, and they will each get an individual photo in their costume as well. Usually just one pose, but if we have time for 2, I move pretty quickly through posing. We might be able to get 2 shots of them in their costume. Admitting some more people. And then they're going to go back into the front room. The front room is going to be acting as the theater, if you will. And the students in all of those classes are going to sit in the theater and perform for each other. So those 3 classes will have an opportunity to all do their dances in front of other kids who are going to be sitting up at the front and watching. This is really great for a couple of reasons. Number 1, they get to do their dance in costume. Number 2, they get to do their dance in the big room, the main open room, which is very helpful to them because it's most similar to the stage. Number 3, they get to do their dances in front of an audience of anywhere between 15 and 30 people of other kids. So it helps them to kind of deal with stage fright, to deal with speeding up, to deal with finding their spots and feeling nervous. And ideally, it's going to help them with their performance quality, making sure they remember to smile while they're in front of an audience. And it's also super nice for all of the kids that get to watch because we don't get to see the show because most students are backstage during the show. There are video screens in all of the dressing rooms, which is really cool. That's not something we've had in a venue before. But getting to watch the other dancers dance and also getting to cheer them on is something that's super exciting. Photo week might feel a little bit stressful at first because you're worried about getting all of your costume pieces together, showing up on time, making sure you get it right. But in reality, photo week ends up being really like a nice breath of fresh air because we've been working on recital dances since January or February usually. And it starts to get kind of boring. It starts to get kind of tiring. The kids are getting corrections. And photo week really just becomes a celebration of the dance and everything that they've been doing. And when they're doing it in costume, it also helps them to be thinking about the future of the recital. And they start getting really excited about that, which is very cool. So there's a lot of positives to photo week. Let's talk a little bit about kind of hair and makeup. We'll use this Monday example. Say you're in junior hip hop and acro back to back on Monday. What you would do is you would come in your first costume of the day because that's going to be going first during your class time. And then you would bring your second costume in your garment bag so that you can change during your second class time. And then we repeat the process all over again. There's usually 3 classes all running at the same time. Again, we would do a group pose with the class, we do the individual photos, and then we run our dances for our friends, hopefully maybe once or twice so that you can get a lot of practice doing it. There are recital tights in the back of your costume bag. Frequently asked question is, do I open the recital tights package and put them on my kid before recital? And the answer is, if you don't have any other pairs of tights, then yes, go ahead and do that. It's better to have them in tights for the photo and the costume week than to have them in bare legs, right? And we hope that they don't get ripped. However, my general advice is wear your class tights to the photo as long as they don't have any holes in them. For the photo, they're going to blend. Your dancer might be standing behind someone. You might not see their legs anyway. So it's okay to wear your class tights, your class ballet tights, your class jazz tights, if you have them, to photo week. That way we avoid the danger of any rips or holes or getting dirty at all prior to putting them on the stage. So again, my advice is to keep those in their package, in the back of your bag until dress rehearsal and recital day, and wear your class tights to photos. As far as hair and makeup goes, the general rule is most classes are going to be in a bun. And the reason why most classes are going to be in a bun is because we do have some fast changes that are happening backstage. And it is just it's stressful for the kids to not feel prepared, and it's also hard on the staff to be changing hairstyles backstage. There is going to be a comprehensive document that lists, I think it already exists, that lists all of the hairstyles for every class. But the reality is that the photos are for you. They're for you, the parents. So you're going to be getting a group class photo. It's a digital version that's free. That's included in your package. You have the printing rights to it, so you can print it out, you can frame it, you can keep it in a folder, you can, well, don't share it because it has other people's kids in it. But all of that stuff, you'll be getting that via email, essentially. But like I said, if you're going to be doing individual photos, it's a picture of your child that you get to keep, so they should look how you want them to look. So if you want them with their hair down, cool with us. If you want them in a bun, fine with us. If you want to spray glitter in their hair, perfect. As far as makeup goes, I personally don't think you need a lot of makeup for photos because I like to allow the natural beauty of the children to shine through. So for our youngest students, we say maybe a little bit of lip gloss, a little touch of gloss, and if you can manage it on them, some mascara to lift the eyes. And for our middle school and high schoolers, of course, they're already moving into makeup on their own, so they can kind of do their own thing. But really a very natural look is what we're looking for makeup, just to enhance the features of the face. So that is photo day. We are having individual photos. There's an individual photo sign up day. It is on Saturday, May 18th. So there is, I will show it to you when I pull up the Recital Hub. There is a link to a sign up Genius form where you can sign up for individual photos. So if we're doing kind of one pose per costume just during the week to guarantee that every kid gets a picture, and if that's something that you're interested in purchasing, then you can. If you're not, then you don't. But a lot of families do like to go ahead and do a more extensive photo shoot, which is totally fine. It's about 5 minutes per costume, 5-10 minutes per costume. And you can do 3 or 4 poses in each costume and kind of pick the best. Obviously, I grew up in the 90s, so photo week was huge, and I have all of my photos with the kind of modeled, sponge background and the, fake deer. And one of my recital photos was turned into a painting by somebody at some point. It's very exciting, but it's so wonderful to have these memories to look back on for sure. If you're a dance company member, I did send you an email about when we're doing company photos. They're going to be essentially during company rehearsals. There is a question. There are a few questions here. Okay. Because we're going to go into questions about Photo Week in just a moment. I might have missed this earlier. Do we need to go to the box office? Yes. So the free tickets that your dancers have brought home are only redeemable at the box office. So you cannot go online and type in a code and put in the free ticket codes. I discussed this with the person that runs the box office, and he was like, the coding is just too complicated, so we do it in person only. So you will have those 2 tickets. They're available at any pricing level. From any pricing level, you're not just relegated to the cheaper level for those comp tickets. And you can go to the box office to get them. I do know what time the dress rehearsal is. The dress rehearsal is different for every student. We will discuss the dress rehearsal procedure a little bit later. It's starting at 9 a.m. And it will not go later than 1 p.m. And some students will only be there for as long as 45 minutes. We do it in sections for the dress rehearsal. And then for Miss Anicia's first class, yes, you can bring, just pop, yes, just Anicia, just pop in. Anytime is totally fine. Or if you prefer, you can sign up for one of those individual photo slots on Saturday with Mr. Cam. Okay. That's a great question. Yes, Meg has a costume issue. It will not unzip. Bring it in and we may or may not have time to get it to the seamstress or not. She usually has about a 2-week turnaround, the seamstress does. But we use Stacy's Alterations, which is right here on Virginia Beach Boulevard next to the Starbucks in that building that has the like Smiley's AC on it. It's just a little seamstress. She's absolutely fabulous though. She does a lot of great work. So that might be something. Yes. Okay. Performance team will have their own company photo. They will have, they'll come during their rehearsal time, which is 5:30 to 6:30 on Wednesday, and they're going to have a separate team photo. We don't get a big group team photo. They just have their own, each team has their own separate team photo, apprentice, junior, company, etc. So you'll bring your jackets and your leggings on that day. Okay, I'm going to open up to questions. If you would like to come off of mute and ask a question, feel free to do so about tickets. If not, you can put it in the chat. Oh, no, not tickets, photos. Da-da-da. I am going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. This information is in the recital book and it is also written down. We are going to do a photo viewing week. It's going to be May 28th to June 3rd. So that's a Tuesday to Monday. On that specific week, what we're going to do is we're going to have a table out in the lobby. We're going to have all of the poses available for you that have been taken of your child. Remember, you do not need to purchase group class photos. Those are going to automatically be emailed to you so that you have them for your record. But if you are interested in purchasing any of the individual photos that were taken for your child, then you can do so. We're doing this. Miss Madison, one of our teachers, her husband Cam is a professional photographer. He does dance photography all over the city. And our director of operations, Miss Kathleen, is also a photographer. She is a wedding photographer. She actually travels all over the country and the world to do wedding photography. They're going to be taking care of photos for us. So we're selling photo packages in-house, which means we got to lower the prices a whole bunch on those photo packages so that we would make it super easier for you. So we kept it pretty simple. We have digital only packages. Because you can print them yourself if you want to. So digital only package is going to be 1 for $15. You can see the pricing here. Unlimited 4 or more for $34. And if you do want us to print them for you because you know you're going to get those digital photos and you're not going to get around to it until next Mother's Day. Mother's Day is when I officially do, I sit down at my computer and I say, I'm going to organize all my photos. I do it once a year. But if you would like us to print them for you, we are going to use a professional printing company in order to print. So it's just $40 on top of, so it's 15. So if you want to do 3 5x7s, add 40. So that's what this pricing is. So I think that's, pretty simple. And if you want to do a single, we have the single additional prints down here. And all that will be very clear. We'll have order forms, we'll have the pictures out, and we will get all of that stuff out to you. Okay, so we have gotten through photo week. We have gotten through picture viewing week. Oh my goodness, let's move on to dress rehearsal. Let's move on to dress rehearsal procedure. I apologize, guys. I am going to take a moment here to pull up my dress rehearsal procedure document because it is not in. You know what I'm going to do? I don't have it memorized. That's why I have to look it up. I am going to pull it up on the Recital website because I know it is up there. Okay, so I'm on the Recital Hub. Just for your own personal reference, the Recital Hub is located on our website. So if you go to our website, it is musicinmotionva.com. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to Spring Dance and you're going to click on Recital Hub. This is where we are right here. This is just a giant kind of Google site that Miss Kathleen thankfully made that has all of the information. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to schedule and I'm going to click on dress rehearsal procedure. The dress rehearsal is happening at Music in Motion. It is not happening at the Harrison Opera House. It's not, this is the, we haven't done it this way in quite some time. Unfortunately, the Harrison Opera House was not available on our ideal dress rehearsal date because there's another dance studio that's having their recital on that day. And I was not really keen on the idea of doing a dress rehearsal in the morning, sending you home, and then making you come back all in one day and on a Sunday. That just seemed like a lot to me. And the reality is that the kids will have been practicing in their classes. They will have done it in their costume. But what we do need to do, and this is very important, is we do need to run the show in order. So there's a lot of back-end tech that makes sure that the show runs off very efficiently. That has to do with my staff knowing exactly where to be and when to be there and who to be with. So they're going to be the ones that are supervising the children, getting them lined up, making sure they know how to walk on the stage from the right direction and off the stage from the right direction. And essentially we just turn the studio into the stage. We turn the lights down. We have blinds that lower down and cover the mirror so that they can't see themselves in the mirror. And the studio is set up in such a way where they're entering and exiting and circling around from the dressing room area, which will be the back studio, in a way that is very similar to the stage. And that is how my staff practices making sure that we can be efficient as possible for the dress rehearsal. But what we do is, and also nice, you're not going to have to drive all the way out to Norfolk in order to do it. But the dress rehearsal procedure is done in 3 parts. We're going to do Act 1 in 2 parts. The arrival time is 9 a.m. Come in costume. The rehearsal starts at 9:15. We're going to run these dances in these classes in this order, and then the students will be released. You are going to drop your student off at the studio at the front door, and then we're going to walk them back to their dressing room just the way that we would do it at the theater. And then when you pick them up, you're actually going to park. You're not going to come into the office. You're going to come, or the lobby, you're going to come to the back. We're going to have a table and a checkout person at the back, and we're going to practice giving your child from that back door because that is a little bit closer to how it's going to work at the theater as well. So this is the first half of Act 1, and then we do have Act 2, Part 2, which is this list of classes. Again, your arrival time is 10 a.m. We take about 15 minutes to get everybody in after we have cleared the first half. And then we will run these dances for about 45 minutes. Maybe the dancers will have a chance to do it twice. And then we move on. So moving on to Act 2, Act 1 is going to be primarily your preschool, your kinder dance classes, a couple of seniors, and maybe a couple of level 1 classes. Act 1 is also the boys as well. And our acro classes. Act 2 is going to be kind of the meat of the performance. That's where we have level 1, junior level, teen level, and senior level. So Act 2 is going to be all run in order. This is because, again, like I mentioned, we have some dancers that are taking like 7, 8 classes, and we have to make sure that they can get their costumes changed comfortably. So this one is for the kids. We're going to have a special quick change area set up for them. We also provide the students with quick change sheets. That's something that Miss Schuyler is working on. So we're going to print out flyers in color that describe the costumes and the order of costumes and the number of dances in between. We give those to the kids so that they can kind of read and process it. And again, this is for older kids. So it's usually not something that parents have to be involved in too much, but we do encourage you to, help them, review and understand these things as we get ready for the show. So Act 2 arrival time is going to be 11 a.m. We get come in costume. We get ready at 11:15, and then we're going to run the show. I anticipate being until about 1 p.m. So this timing is a little bit strange here around lunchtime. So make sure you feed them a really, really solid breakfast. If they're having breakfast when they first wake up at 9, give them a snack before they get here at 11. And then give them a snack before they get here at 11. And also maybe pack a couple of really clean snacks, water only, no smoothies, no juice boxes, no Gatorade, none of that stuff, and things like pretzels or granola bars. And we are a peanut-free studio, so please do not pack peanuts or peanut items in your student's bag. Question here for you guys. If my student is in teen musical theater and they are in nothing else, do they have to stay through the whole end of dress rehearsal? The answer is no. But what we're going to do is we're going to text you when your student is done. So for this class, we might assume that they're going to be done at about 11:30. So you would want to be prepared to come pick them up at 11:30. But it does happen sometimes that we might want to run some dances again. Sometimes something happens with the music, or they mess up, or they get stage fright and they need to feel more comfortable practicing. Sometimes we do ask some dances to stay so that they can try it again. So do wait for us to contact you. But if you want to make sure to kind of, this is the order. So look at the order and be like, okay, my kid's in hip hop 1. So that's 4 dances in. So I'm going to aim for 11:30, 11:45 to be back, if that makes sense. That's the thought process behind how dress rehearsal works. But if you have plans on Saturday, these people will be done at 10, these people will be done at 11, and everyone here should be done by 1. If we are running over, I will be sure to let you know. You'll notice that there are some classes that are not included here. Those classes are pre-ballet, tiny tappers, any of the company dances. They are in the show. They are not listed here because we are not running those dances specifically. I'm not having the 2-year-olds come to dress rehearsal. You guys are fine. You will have your Wednesday class and your Friday class. So I'll just show you the dress rehearsal procedure down here real quick. Drop off at the front door, pick up at the back door, no parents inside. You've been dropping your kids off all year, so they should be fine. Arrive in costume. No makeup is needed on this Saturday unless you would like to practice. You're more than welcome to, but there will not be any photos or videos taken of dress rehearsal. It is just a practice, so you do not need to put your child in makeup. We would like to see the hair though. Having your hair properly done helps you to dance better. You cannot dance well if it's falling out, and so on. Multiple costumes. Arrive in your first costume based on this order. Here, arrive in your first costume and bring your other ones. I do have the show order posted up all throughout the studio. So if you want to check it out, if your student wants to check it out, they can let me know if they see any issues with it. The more eyes on things like that, the better. So I see some messages down here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and answer some questions. Here we go. Is there a link in the Google Doc for the Youth Boys Hip Hop? That is an excellent question. Let's find out. Class details. Wednesdays. Youth Boys Hip Hop is right here. Yes, ma'am. So, and that is what we call it. So if you go to class details, each class has a page. So let me click on Youth Boys Hip Hop and see what it has to say. Recital practice videos are here and here. We don't have the music linked, and I think that's because the music is just in the recital practice video. So if you click on this, here's an example. Here's the Youth Boys Hip Hop class. This lives in the Google Drive. And I'll just make a note right here. We do take videos from the back so that the student can, oh my gosh, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Ooh. Here we go. I was over here, I'm in class details and I'm scrolling down to Youth Boys Hip Hop, and this is the Youth Boys Hip Hop page. Click on the recital practice videos. And what we do is we video from the back. So as if you were watching it, you can follow along with it without having to reverse the moves. But you will notice that when we video from the back, we do video into the mirror so that your student can see, kind of what's happening from the mirror. And that is how that works. So there it is. Dinner ready. Okay, yes. So dress rehearsal. It is in the recital website. It starts at 9. There's an arrival at 9, an arrival at 10, and an arrival at 11. So it just depends on what class your child is in. Thank you, Anicia. All right. Boys hip hop is in Act 1, Part 2. That is a tongue twister, which is also probably why I have a typo. Act 1. Yes, I will change this. It is Act 1, Part 2. The boys will be, youth boys are in the middle and junior boys are using the mats. So they are towards the end. But both boys are in the 10 a.m. arrival with the 11 a.m. pickup time. Going back to the chat. Da da da. More. Oh, is it almost full? Yes, Allison. Shoot me an email and we will see about the time slots. We didn't want to give too many, Miss Allison, as far as the individual time slots because we didn't want to spread out the day too much. But if we are needing more time slots, then we will most certainly open them up. Okay. I'm sure so interesting issue is that the dress rehearsal, not in the book, it is on the website. So take a look at that. And if you have questions, let me know. Let's open up the chat to anybody who has a question about dress rehearsal.
Miss Lauren, can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, I
So
can hear you.
are you gonna let the volunteers know which acts they need to come for
What am
to
I
help?
doing? Sorry, I don't.
Uh-oh. Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
know how I can hear you. I don't know how earbuds work. I was turning on some like other music and it was playing through my earbuds, so I'm sorry about that. Volunteers. Yes, who am I speaking with? I'm sorry. Is that Simone?
Monica, Can
What's that?
Shia and King
Oh, it's
can
Sharnika. Oh,
Sharnika
it's
keep up?
Sharnika.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yes. So we're gonna move through this, but for the volunteers, there's gonna be a volunteer meeting that is happening on via Zoom. So Miss Kathleen is in charge of the volunteers and she's gonna reach out to you. She's also gonna be in charge of making sure that you get your seats as well. So here's a quick point about volunteers. We do need volunteers. We need volunteers for a couple of our younger classes. Let me see. Da, da, da. Yes. So we have plenty of volunteers for the boys. We have a volunteer for the ballet tap class. I think I need a volunteer for tumble ballet tap and jazz hip hop tumble, and maybe one more. But the volunteers will have a seat reserved for them in the front row of the auditorium. That is easy for you when your child is dancing to come down and sit in that seat in the front. You're not going to get a ticket for you. It's just a section that's reserved specifically for volunteers. So for my volunteers, as far as your ticket purchases go, you're welcome to purchase yourself a ticket or use a comp ticket in order to sit with your family in the auditorium after you are complete after you're done volunteering. But if you're staying backstage the whole time, then you wouldn't need a ticket. If you're only volunteering for the first act, you can go sit with your family in your ticketed seat. Or if you don't want to buy a seat and you want to save some money, which is also a great idea, you have a seat reserved for you in that front section. So I will send an email about that with some more clarity to all of the volunteers and how to manage your tickets. But yes, we will need you on dress rehearsal. And once we get all of the volunteers organized, like I said, we still need a few more. We will send you the details with your job description and when you need to be there for dress rehearsal, because that would be great for you to get to know your kids at dress rehearsal. Thank you. Okie dokie. Any more questions about dress rehearsal? Not at this time. All right, let's move on to show day. Show day is going to be a great day. Again, we're in another new venue. Very excited about using this venue. Highly professional, beautiful stage, great backstage, great staff, super safe, easy to get to. It's just 2 turns off the highway, which is very convenient. So let's take a look at the recital procedure. So because we are not able to have a dress rehearsal in the theater, that means that our dancers have not had a chance to walk onto the stage. So we're not going to be having a dress rehearsal on the stage, but what we are going to be doing is we're going to be calling in our dances in order of age group and class a little bit earlier to the theater in order to give them a chance to walk onto the stage with their classes, kind of find their spots. It should only take maybe, 3 to 5 minutes per class. We're not running the dance in costume. We're not running it with music or any of that stuff. But we do want the dancers to have the opportunity to at least familiarize themselves with the stage and looking out into the auditorium so they can really get that experience and feel super confident and comfortable when they do have to take the stage during the performance time. It's mostly helpful for our youngest students, but it is really great for everybody to have that opportunity in order to make sure they have the best performance they can have. So the times are listed here, and this is in the book and it is correct. So our senior dancers are the oldest. So they are going to get to arrive at 12 noon, and we're going to do blocking for all of the senior dances classes between 12:30 and 1. So that includes senior hip hop, contemporary, jazz, ballet, recital, point 3, and tap. Dancers who are non-company dancers, it's 1 o'clock and the call time isn't until 3:30. So if you do want to leave and come back, that is fine. Your teen and senior dancers also have lots of friends. So if you just want to drop them off, not come back and bring them back and only come back for the show, that's totally fine. We will take care of them. They will hang out in the dressing room and have the time of their lives. No big deal. But if you do want to leave and come back, we are allowing that. Our junior and teen dancers are going to arrive at 12:30 p.m. and they have a lot more classes that we have to cover. So we're going to block these students between 1 and 2 p.m. These students are this list of classes here. So if your class name that you are in has the name junior or junior/teen in front of it, this is going to be you. Arrive at 12:30, and then we're going to let the kids onto the stage between 1 and 2. Again, you'll be done at 2, and the call time for dancers is not until 3:30. So if you would like to leave and come back, that is fine. You don't even have to leave and come, like, I'll go home and come back. If you want to leave and go have lunch somewhere and come back, then that's totally fine as well. We will check you in again. For my level 1 dancers, your arrival time is 2. You're going to block between 2 and 3. We did these younger dancers closer to the actual recital start time because we're assuming that they would go ahead and be staying and getting ready and so on. Our preschool and kinder dance dancers, which is this list of classes here, will arrive at 2:45. They are going to block between 3 and 4. And then the auditorium opens at 4 o'clock for patrons, and then the show starts at 4:30. Let me describe, I gave you the list of the times, and you can read the list of the classes here on the website. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe this process to you just a little bit more. And I'm going to use the preschool and kinder dance students as an example. So what's going to happen is you're going to put your dancer in their costume. You're going to get them fully ready for the show, including makeup and hair. You're going to arrive to the theater at 2:45. You park and you're going to come into the front doors of the theater. Once you're in the front doors of the theater, they do have a security, so you'll go through security. They're not going to check they might check your tickets at this time, but they might not check your tickets until later. All the parents and the children are going to proceed into the auditorium. We're going to have each of the classes in the order that they're going to go on stage, sit in the rows rows of the auditorium in their costume with their class in their lineup order. Okay. So creative movement is going to sit, there's 13 of them, I think. They're going to sit in the first row. And then Move and Groove is going to sit in the second row with their class. And parents, you guys are going to kind of stay and kind of hang out towards the back. We're going to have all tape lines and everything in the front so that the kids know where to go. The parents are going to kind of stay and hang out because you're probably going to want to just wait for your tickets. Of course, if you're dropping off your kid, you don't have to walk in with them. But again, I'm using the younger ones as an example because this is new for everybody. Your teacher is going to come and get your student from the auditorium. We're going to walk them backstage. We're going to walk them onto the stage. We're going to help them find their spots. We're going to have a little talk with them and so on and so forth. And then we're going to send them back out to the auditorium to sit with their classes. Once the whole thing is over, if you're up here, you'll either go to your dressing room if you're staying, or you'll go to your parent if you're leaving. And here, you're going to go give your mom and dad a big hug and kiss, and then you're going to they stay, and then you're going to go back into the dressing room. We have some exciting things lined up for the dressing room. We're going to have one really big surprise for all of the kids. And we'll also be playing a movie, and we'll have tons of coloring and stuff like that upstairs too. So it does feel long for the parents. But for your kids, the being inside of the theater is just so special. It's so exciting. They get to be around their friends. They get to be wearing a beautiful costume. Like I still have, like I said, I grew up in the 90s. So we sat in circles and we just like played hand clap games. We played Pogs when we were backstage. And I still cherish all of those memories. It's really exciting. And I'm really excited for your kids to have this opportunity too. So that is how the blocking and the arrival time works for the preschool and kinder dance dancers. So let's take a moment, and it's all written, this is written down here, but you just heard me talk through it. So when you check in, you're going to be checking in. We're using an app. It's called Check-in Point. We attempted to use Check-in Point last year and it did not work because we did not have a great Wi-Fi signal. We are going to be improving that this time around so that it is working. And they have also upgraded some features. So instead of checking in students by name, which takes a little bit longer to kind of type and search, when your student is checked in, you get a QR code sent that's texted to your phone. So when you go to check your student out, essentially what you would do is we would just be scanning the QR codes as you go along. Now, in addition to that, we do have a backup analog failsafe if that doesn't work. I do love getting the real-time texts on my phone though of when your dancer has been checked in and when they have left, which hopefully you should be there for as well. But what we're doing this year is we're going to do wristbands. We're going to have a colored wristband for all of the parents who are picking up their students at intermission. And we're going to have a differently colored wristband for the 2 different locations where you're going to be doing pickup. If you've been with us in previous years, we have been doing pickup directly from the stage. We bring all of the dancers onto the stage and then we kind of like hand them to you, or they climb down or the stairs. Unfortunately, the Harrison Opera House does have a very large orchestra pit. So there's no way to get your kids from the stage without having to go through kind of a tiny, small, weird hallway. So what we're doing when we do checkout is we're looking to have as much space as possible in order to make the flow happen really easy. This is not a super great example here. However, I'm going to pull up a couple of things so that you can see. If you are in the theater, this is the lobby, and right here where my mouse is the entrance to the auditorium, and the stage is down here, and the backstage is all the way back here. It's not really listed, but this hallway that's here, if I'm facing the stage, this hallway is going to be on the left. But in this picture, this hallway is on the right. It is the right-hand hallway. This door here leads to the backstage. This is going to be pickup area location number 1. We're going to bring a specific set of classes to pickup area number 1. We're going to line them up in order of class, right? So what we're going to do is in this hallway, we're going to have colored tape lines. So if you're in creative movement who's being released first. Well, pre-ballet is the youngest, so they would be released first. There's an order. But say you're in creative movement and they're being released third, well, you're going to stand in the line that is attached to your wristband. That is the color of your wristband for creative movement. Because if you come to the front of the line, well, that means other people are going to need to get past you first. When we're releasing the classes, we're going to have them all kind of lined up in the hallway in order to give you your kid. Can you envision that, or is this just all in my is this just all in my head? Essentially, they will be in order of release. It will be released by class, and your students are there's going to be tape lines in the hallway so that you can stand in that specific block, so that as the first group collects their kids, they exit and then you move down. Line technology, if you will. So that's how it will function. Pickup location number 2 is actually going to be outdoors. Just past this door right here, there is a double door just a little bit further down that is outdoors. And it's the same thing right here, parallel to this hallway. There is a sidewalk. You're going to line up on the sidewalk, and the second group of kids we're going to be releasing at the very same time from location number 2. You will have a wristband that will say location number 2 on it, and your class and your kid's name. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that wristband so that you have an idea of where to go and how to pick up your child after the end of the show. We're separating it into those 2 pickup locations so that not everyone is bunched into a small space, but we can get everybody out as fast as we possibly can. That being said, let's go back. Show day procedures. It's a good thing I'm not a dancer. Okay. Checking in. We do have a recital gift for everybody. Everybody gets a commemorative program. It's going to be thick this year. We got a lot of shout outs. We got a lot of business ads. It's so great. We have so many great photos from the year that are in there. The commemorative, printing is kind of crazy these days. Is it even valid anymore? But I personally think that it is. And I love printing a program for you all. For anyone else, we are going to, have QR codes to the digital program, and it's going to be a flip book online, so it's going to look exactly the same. Costumes and changing, backstage helpers, parking, show information, doors open at 4, recital begins at 4:30, pickup procedures. So as you can see, if you just scroll down a little bit further, we're going to be having this list of classes being picked up at intermission. It is all of our younger classes. And then we have 2 locations. Location 1 is to the left of the auditorium at the original table, which is these classes. And then location 2 is the outside double doors, which is this set of classes. Wristbands, I haven't decided. We might give them away at dress rehearsal. We might give them away at check-in. We'll see how quickly we can get them. And then post-show pickup procedure, same thing. The classes are split. Location 2, That makes sense. So think about what class your student is in. If your child is in more than one class, I'm going to have to write that down. We're going to lean towards the inside location for pickup for your student that is in just one class. But again, this is all level 1 right here. So if they're in multiple classes, they should all be in the level 1 classes. If they're in mixed levels, level 1 and level 2, we're going to trend towards the getting them out with the older level, if that makes any kind of sense. There are some other resources in here. You guys can read through all this stuff without me having to talk through it. Makeup for level 1 question is for my preschoolers, I say lipstick, eyeshadow, blush, and mascara, as much of that as you can get on them. And same thing for level 1. Yeah, I do recommend foundation. The lights at the Harrison Opera House are big and harsh, so we're going to need some powder. We're going to need some kind of foundation so that the face is not completely washed out. And you're going to thank me for that, because when you get your video, if you do not have foundation or makeup on your child's face, then the light will shine on their face and will bounce off, and their face will just be a white circle, and you won't get to see their beautiful smile in the video. So the purpose of the stage makeup is to define their features so that when we do have the photographs and the concert video return, then you're able to see all of their, all of everything, all their beautiful faces. Okay, free throws. Oh, no, programs. We will have digital programs, but everybody gets a commemorative recital guide. Yes, so we have printed, every family gets a printed recital. Yes, it's absolutely fabulous. We love it. The approximate time of intermission, that's a great question. The show begins at 4:30. The first half is between an hour and 75 minutes long. So I'm going to say that intermission will be about 5:30 or 5:45. We hope to run fast. We're gonna run it fast. The entire show, I would say, is probably about 3 hours long from the beginning to end, which includes that intermission. We have a bit of an extended intermission to make sure that we can get the kids out quickly. If the intermission is running well, and we can cut it short and get to Act 2 as quickly as possible, then we will go ahead and we'll get started so that everyone can get out sooner. But it's going to be a really entertaining show. So don't even hesitate about how much you're going to be enjoying yourself to watch it all the way through, especially our little 2-year-old babies. They're going to be adorable. Okay, that is the show day procedure. What, oh, I forgot to mention, when you're dropping off your kids for blocking, which is way up here, we discussed maybe 5-10 minutes ago, you're going to be in the auditorium with your student for blocking. I'm going to review all of this information day of and tell you where to go and where to be when you're actually sitting in the theater with your kids, right? So I'm going to tell you where to go and where to be when you're in there doing your blocking with the kids. So you're going to hear all of this one more time. As a parent myself, like I said, I don't have any of this memorized. It's written down, and we look it up. I know it. It makes a lot of sense that you're going to maybe look this over the day before or a couple of days before and get to know it really well. And that is totally cool. But we will not be available Saturday or Sunday for questions. So if you have questions, make sure you get them to us by Friday, because when we go into show mode, we are 100% in show mode. The goal is making sure that your kids have and you have an amazing, efficient, safe, and exciting experience. And there is quite a bit of work that goes into that on the back end. So we typically do not have a lot of administrative staff available to be answering emails or answering texts or anything like that. I recommend reviewing the site if you have questions that day, or oh golly, I don't know. The reality is that we're going to put the kids on stage and we're going to have a great time. And if they have a bun instead of a ponytail, or a ponytail instead of a bun, or they refuse to put their makeup on and you just didn't want to fight it, like, none of that really matters. We're not mad at you. We're just trying to get through it together. So you can follow the rules as well as you can, but if you show up on time, then that's really all you need to do. Okay. Do we have any more questions about the dress rehearsal procedure? Oh, sorry, the show day procedure. I don't know where we are. Okay. If you do not have questions about show day procedure, that is fine. If you review this information and you have questions, call us or email us or let us know. I will go quickly. We are still selling merchandise. In the past, you will have noticed that a lot of the merchandise has been sold directly when tickets are being sold. So it's really, really easy for you to be like, oh, I'm buying my tickets. Let me not forget flowers for my kid. Unfortunately, again, with Ticketmaster, having that opportunity to sell products was not available. So if you are interested in getting any of the Recital merchandise, then that will be available to you if you go over here and you use the form. I think the shout outs and the advertisements are closed. That deadline was May 1st. But we do still have the things like our flower bouquets, our squishmallows, and I just got beach towels today, and they are the cutest thing I have ever seen. So we have these logo beach towels. I think I got 30 of them because we live at the beach and we're going into summer, and I thought it would be kind of cool to do it that way. But they are huge. They're microfiber, so they soak up a ton of water. And they also come in like a logo drawstring bag with the same like hibiscus pattern on it. They're really adorable. Highly recommend a beach towel. Squishmallows, always a ton of fun. We have different Squishmallows than we did at the winter recital, so it will be different. It's a unicorn with a dance on it. And so that's a new design. And then we also, for the flowers this year, we've always done red roses in the past, but this year we're doing pink roses. They are dipped in glitter and they're so beautiful. I have so many pictures of myself with my stage makeup on and my hair slicked down to my head, and I'm holding my flowers with my photo with my parents at all of my recitals. So that is something not to be missed, to order your flowers. Of course, if you want to stop by the grocery store and get them on your way, that is totally fine. But it's a Sunday, so the grocery store is going to be busy with people shopping for their groceries for the week. So pre-order your flowers. They are so convenient and so beautiful. And you can do that by using this form here. Everything should be working well. I did take a few notes on some things about making sure that siblings get their comp tickets and making sure that volunteers get their assignments. Da, da, da. Oh, the beach towel is so cute. No, Ashley, if your daughter is not until Act 2, this is actually an excellent question. No, she does not need a ticket. What we're going to do is she's going to be backstage for Act 1. But like I mentioned, we have seats up at the top that are going to be reserved for students. So she might not sit with you, but she might sit with a group. If she wants to watch Act 1, she will sit with a group of students up in the top where we have it kind of blocked off just for the kids to hang out and watch. Or she might just hang out in the dressing room and have a good time, which is fine. Another option is just arriving a little bit later, but I will email my Act 2 dancers about that. As far as the venue goes, I'm not sure if they allow late arrivals because they are staffed as far as the security and the ushers and the box office and the ticket takers go. They typically don't extend that too far into the start of the show. So it is highly likely that you will have to arrive at that specific call time and stay. So that is the answer to that. If you would want her to sit with her, email me, I'll get you a comp ticket. But if not, it's just kind of included for the kids. Yes. Okay. What else is in this book? We've got procedures, what to bring, costumes. There is a costume list. Let me show you an example of the costume list real quick. It's not here. Let's go. Ding, class details. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Move and groove. This is what your costume detail page looks like. Miss Schuyler made all of these. This is the Wednesday Move and Groove. They have a blue sequin scrunchie around a ponytail. They have their skin tone tights and their black sparkle hip hop sneakers, which were just ordered this weekend. So if you are in hip hop, you will be getting sneakers soon with your costume to go with your costumes. And this is what their costume looks like. I will make a caveat though. Whatever the says, it is what is correct for the costume. This dancer just happens to have a ponytail in her hair, and there's going to be a scrunchie that goes around it, which you don't see in the picture because, oh, it's on her hand. That should be on the ponytail. So do read while also looking at the photo. And I will tell you why, because the photos are what we get from the photos are what we get from the costume companies. So the photos do not always match exactly what we have set for their hair and makeup. So as you can see here, this is what the teen hip hop looks like. There are not details listed here as far as shoes or anything or hair go. So I'll make sure that Schuyler types that in so that we'll review the site and make sure all the information is in there. All righty. Absolutely, yes. This person is asking about coming early to watch the other performers. That is totally okay. 100%. We want you to see the whole show. We have a lot of amazing things that happen during the show. We have some seniors who are graduating, who are dancing, who are having a special celebration. With the show opener is going to be our company production, which is Immortal, which is a Michael Jackson theme. We have a special surprise for all of the audience members during the Immortal production, which is our opening number. There will be 40 dancers on stage for the opening number. We do a pin ceremony at the beginning of the show for all dancers who have been with the studio for 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. We have them come onto the stage and we give them a pin commemorating the amount of time they have been with us at the studio. We have some students who are submitting some letters. We're going to be recording some students talking about their experience with dance and their teammates and themselves and their parents. We're going to be playing those kind of during intermission and during any breaks that we have. We'll also have a very large kind of slideshow of all of the pictures that we've taken all throughout the year. That slideshow is going to be playing on the site as you're walking into the theater and also ideally during intermission as well. So you'll be able to see some of the events that your students have attended and also their class photos and individual photos up there on the screen throughout the show in between the dances. And during intermission, we usually play a game on the stage. We play the Magical Tutu game. So if there's any children in the audience to help pass the time during the pickup as we wait for Act 2 to start, we do invite any children of all ages to come up onto the stage and play the Magical Tutu game with us. And that kind of gives them a cool way to feel like they can get up on the stage too, which is super fun. So the recital is a really big celebration from beginning to end and really starting now. So let's rock and roll. Let's have a good time. All right. I'll stay on for a little bit longer for any questions that anybody has. But otherwise, this has been recorded, so I would post it and email it to everybody. The recital reference book that we have these printed, they're in the studio, Miss Nita. We did hand them out in classes, so Naya may have been absent on one of those days. But there are we have a bunch of them in the office, and there should be some just in the lobby as well. So just stop in the next time you have a chance, and then you can kind of carry this around with you like I do. But literally every word that is in this booklet is also on the website online as well. The boys hip hop. If you're still with me, one of the things I was going to do that I forgot to do was to kind of grab this little dude here, drop him at the Harrison Opera House so we can kind of see what it looks like. So usually when I'm coming down, I think it's St. Paul's, that's right over here, and you're turning right. This is Virginia Beach Boulevard. That's why GPS is good. But this is the front of the theater. There's a parking lot on the side, in the back, and then there's also a large parking lot all the way over here. So you're going to be walking in through the entrance here. And then here we go. This is the large parking lot. So this is that sidewalk that I was talking about as far as kind of doing that pickup. So we're doing the side here. That's that hallway in the lobby. So what we're going to do, if your pickup location is location number 2, then you are going to be lining up on this sidewalk here, and the double doors are these ones right here. This is where we're going to be releasing the students from. So we'll have a table right up here, and the students are going to be lined up in the theater, and then you'll be coming up in order to collect your student with your wristband and your check-in point QR code. But that is what the Harrison Opera House looks like. Unfortunately, we do not have an inside view. So it is on the left hand. Is it these dinosaurs? It might be these ones. I have to get in there. It will be clearly marked. Here we go. The beautiful Harrison Opera House. And if you want to check this out too, as you can see, this is the parking over here. Very nice. Okay, X out of that. This is the backstage area. Everyone will be assigned to a specific dressing room. As I mentioned, we're going to have a special surprise for all of the dancers backstage. We're going to have some visitors. There's your parking information. This is in the recital booklet, so you can see the bird's eye view of everything here. Photo packages and the Harrison Opera House website, which has some more inside pictures if you would like to check out. That's an excellent question. Okay, so for blocking, yes, the students, for the younger students, because they're going to be going backstage kind of right away, that's your preschool and kinder dance students that are coming at 2:45 and blocking between 3 and 4. We do want them to come in costume because we cannot accommodate, ideally the parents will get the younger children dressed. So we cannot accommodate for the number of youth students that we have, it's over 100. We cannot accommodate having every parent and every student upstairs in the dressing room getting them changed at the same time. However, because the blocking is it's not a run through, it's not a music run through, it's just blocking on stage so that you can feel where your spot is. The students will come in their not their regular clothes, but like leggings or leotard and tights and shorts or something, but don't wear your costume to blocking. You will bring your costumes, you will block on stage, then you will head back to your dressing room to get dressed. So yes, that is correct. And Kara, yes, I would love for you to volunteer. I will be in the studio on Wednesday by 4 o'clock. So if you'd like to chat with me on Wednesday, I can give you all of the information. There are still 22 people here. So it's good to just have you on. I'm going to wait 2 more minutes to see if there's any more questions, but like I said, you can call, email, or just stop into the office. But I love to chat. I'm not usually here on Mondays. I'm here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And Tuesdays, sometimes I go to Starbucks to work because it's hard to think while I'm in the studio when there's a bunch of kids. But again, if someone in the office can't answer your question, then they will get it to me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this meeting, and I will see you all very, very soon. I can't wait to see all the parents' faces soon. I miss you guys. All right, have a great rest of your evening and week, and we will see you for Costume Week next week.